and we need to go to the homework. And I'm just going to pull up some out of each and give you something to go on, because like I say, it's not that difficult unless you can't do slopes. It's just a waste. In my opinion, it's a waste of all of our time. So let's go to the website. Let me rephrase that. It's not a waste of your time. It's just it's too much material for one subject. Does that make sense? You shouldn't spend a whole unit. It should be a section or maybe 2 sections. But here's 2.1 homework. See? Estimate the slope. I'm not going over those, okay? I'm sorry. Now, of course, that right there is a test question. Anytime you see one like this, it's a test question. So I'll go ahead and do that one for you. It says, a moving conveyor is built to rise 1 meter for each 8 of a horizontal change. Find the slope of the conveyor. Suppose that the conveyor runs between 2 floors in a factory. Find the length of the conveyor if the vertical distance between floors is 12 feet. Okay? So the first thing I would do is draw a what? I would draw a triangle or a picture. So go ahead, everybody do that problem. I'm not insulting your intelligence if I just pick problems and go over them. Yeah, just come on in. How was breakfast? Was it good? Oh, everybody looked like they winged on a pickle this morning. You don't need to liven up. There's Mountain Dew, comes in green and red. You'll need to get some of it. Okay, nobody's going to talk to me. Fine. I'll go jump in a lake. All right. So we've got a conveyor that's for every 1 foot. For every 1 foot vertical, there is 8 for what? For horizontal. So the slope is 8. Slope is equal to vertical over horizontal. Slope is equal to 8. Now, we know that it says, suppose the conveyor runs between 2 floors in a factory. Find the length of the conveyor, which is H, right here. If the vertical distance between the floors is what?
So funny.
12 feet.
Dude, isn't it 1/8?
Yeah, it's 1/8.
I'm sorry, it's 1/8. Thank you. 1/8. Okay, now everybody say it at one time. Yeah, I thought that, but I didn't say nothing. 1, 2, 3.
I thought that.
I didn't say nothing.
Okay, everybody got it out now? I can't stand when y'all do that. I can't stand when students do that. And Bubba on the back row. Yeah, man, you wrong. He don't even know what freaking day it is. Yeah, I thought that. Go all the way through the freaking problem. Yeah, I thought that, yeah. All right, now what?
I figured you did something wrong.
Yeah, I figured, thank you. What do you do? I answered the first one for you. I answered A. Now what?
Incorrectly.
Incorrectly. You could think up of what? For every 1 foot. What could you do?
12 times 8.
Could you use similar what?
Triangle.
Maybe triangles? I don't know. What could you do? 1 is 12.
Well, since it's a ratio,
X.
couldn't you just multiply 12 by 8?
Let's see what happens. Without trig, it'd be kind of hard. 1 is to 8. That's what? 12 is to what? X. And we get X times what? X is equal to what? 8 times 12. Yes, you can. Okay? I don't want to just arbitrarily say, okay, just multiply the slope times the, I don't want to do that. You can do it with trig also, or you can do it with just similar triangles. All right? So what's 8 times 12?
96.
96. But not, what is x? X is what?
Horizontal.
The horizontal, but they want the what? They want the vertical. I meant the conveyor. So you want to use Pythagorean theorem. Of course, everybody knows that. H is equal to the square root of 96 squared plus 12 squared. Somebody give me that. That's 144 and whatever. Somebody calculate that and give me the 96 squared plus 144 and take the square root of that. What do you get? It's going to be a little bit over 96 feet, but what is it?
Square root of 9,360
is somebody says 96.75 or 74. What did y'all get?
That was the square root of both of them added up.
Okay, that's fine. I'm making sure everybody got that. Because if I put the wrong answer up there, there's some of these people that will, some of like these campuses, they'll make a big deal out of it. All right, what? God, such a lie.
96.75.
Thank you. Did you actually do the calculation, or did you just say it just to say it?
I did the calculation.
Okay, thank you. The reason I'm asking you is sometimes people set me up, and I put the wrong answer up there, and they'll say, "Yeah, you're wrong, man." So H is equal to 96 point what? 75 or 74?
Yeah.
That should be your answer. Okay? So that's the stuff. Again, I tried to find challenging problems, but it's almost like this is a second review. So find the slope and the y-intercept. See? I'm not going to sit here and teach y'all how to find the slope and y-intercept when it's in y-intercept form. That, to me, that would insult your intelligence. Okay? Now, some of y'all might not be able to do this. What do you got to do? Set equal to what? Y. You got to use some algebra there. Now, I'll do one of these for you just to remind you. Again, this has it really don't has any bearing on the derivatives. I don't understand why they're doing it, but what happens if you want to find the parallel and the perpendicular line? What do you use? Well, you use the inverse and you use the same slope. So I tell students to do it, and I might have shown you in the review, to make a table like this. And the point is 4 and 5, negative 4 and 5. So we've got to write an equation. So y minus 5 is equal to negative 4 times x minus a negative 4. All right, crank that out, and that equation goes right there. Crank that out. Okay, well, I'm going to make up a point because they don't give us a point. Oh well. So that's going to give us y minus 5 is equal to negative 4x. Negative times a negative is what? Positive times a negative is negative 20. Bring the 5 over. Y is equal to negative 4x. What's negative 20 plus 5? Negative 15?
Yeah.
And that's the equation. Y equals negative 4x minus 15. So M is equal to negative 4. Now, for a parallel line, what are the slopes? The slopes are what?
Negative 4.
-4, the slopes are equal. So for the parallel line, that's a negative slope. What about the perpendicular line?
Positive 1/4.
Good. Opposite sign, reciprocal. Positive 1/4. Now, I don't know why they didn't give us an equation. Now, I guess they want you to use -4 and 5 again. I don't know. You can use any point. It's kind of it says, write the equation for the line through the given point and perpendicular to the given line. I'm just going to make a point up. I'm going to say 0, 0. And 0, 0. I don't know what, you'll have to figure it out when you do the problem. I don't know exactly what they're, the way that it's usually written, this is the way it's usually written. They give you an equation and they give you a point. But in this case, I think they're wanting you to use the same point over. And just change, but I'm going to use a different point. So y minus, I'm showing you how to do the procedure. I'm not showing you how to do this exact question. Y minus, this is x sub 1, this is y sub 1. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Y minus 0 is equal to -4 times x minus 0. And y is equal to -4x plus 0. So this line right here is parallel to this line right here, because it has different y what? Intercepts. Same slope. This one, y minus, this is x sub 1, this is y sub 1, is equal to 1/4 times x minus 0. Y is equal to 1/4 x plus 0. And this line is perpendicular to this line. Okay, again, a review of algebra. Now, I can understand why there's so much algebra, but going from one review into another review is just kind of ridiculous. So, everybody remember that? Everybody okay with it? Yeah, Hubert. Okay. Thank you for interaction.
What?
Calculate, that's just interpreting. That's pretty simple. They even give you parts. Here's one that you might see on a test. So I'll let you look at it. You can draw somewhat of a picture of it if you want to. The figure shows the highest elevations above sea level attained by Lake Tahoe, located on the California-Nevada border from 1982 through 1996. And it says, draw a secant line connecting the left and right endpoints. So I'm going to take a red secant line and draw one from the left endpoint. I suck at this. Hold on. To the right endpoint. Now, just looking at it, does it look like it's going in a negative slope or a positive slope? It looks like to me it's a negative slope, but I can't tell really because it's so shallow. So find the slope of the line. I think that's what they're going to ask you for. That means write it down, write the problem down. That means actually do it. Everybody writing it down?
Just from looking at it, would it be negative if the end point is a greater value than the starting point?
Yeah, if the first end point is greater, it'd be negative, yes.
Okay,
I was just looking at it. It does look like, if you look right here and here, you see it going in a downward. I'm talking about graphically. I wasn't looking at the values. I just
that's probably just because you suck at drawing it.
Yeah, it probably does. You're probably right. All right, so we read from left to right. So this is y sub 2, y sub 1. This is y sub 2, and x will be down here. X would be 96 and 82. So 96 minus 82 over 6229.09 minus 6228.98. And somebody give me the numerator. What does that come out to be? Calculated drill team? What does that come out to be? The numerator. I said numerator 3 times, okay? So that doesn't mean the final answer.
0.11.
All right, so it is positive. And what's that come out to be? What's 6 cents?
Zero.
Point what?
0.0183.
So the slope is just about 0. Okay, so that's why you can't hardly tell. And like you said, since I suck at drawing, yeah, it does look like a negative slope, but it's not. It's a positive slope, barely. And then they say, write the sentence interpreting the slope in the context. What is it fairly, I can't, what they give you a choice. It says it's fairly increasing by an average of 0.018. And you would just fill out these, like I say, you 0.018 here and so forth. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this again. Now, why are they giving you this question? They're giving you this question to see if you can read a what? They're seeing if you can read a graph. Same thing here. So, and that's the extent of this section. Reading graphs, being able to make a table, being able to read a graph. Same thing there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Okay, next set of homeworks. I'm just going to skip around. I'm going to go to 2.3. That's 2.1, if it'll ever leave 2.1. And let's go to 2.3. I only gave you 4 questions. Okay, yeah, this is real hard stuff. The function P gives the number of miles from an airport that a plane has flown after T hours. Miles per hour. What is the unit?
Miles
per hour.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's what I'm told. The syllabus says go over this. What common word is used for P prime of 2.5?
Speed.
Let's see if we got it right. There it is. We feel good about ourselves. So I won't have to install a pipe on my truck. Okay.
a pipe on my truck.
Yeah, smokestack. Yeah, you got to have a.
I
In
know
order,
exactly
in order
what-
to
I know
be
what
a
you're talking
man
about.
these days, you have to put a smokestack on a pickup truck.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Okay, so that's 2.3. There's 4 questions. If you have any problem with that, refer to your calculator. Okay. Next. Y'all are just not being very nice to me this morning. Y'all just won't interact. You won't talk to me. It really hurts my feelings.
To be honest, Hubert, this is kind of a
Waste of your time.
Yeah.
It is. That's why. Now, this section is not. Okay, this section is not. This section, I will test you on. 2.5. I think this is 2.5. Difference quotient. So I want everybody, let's do this one. Put that in the difference quotient. Because that's all I'm going to give you for this unit. It's going to be 90% difference quotient.
Okay.
I want you to put on your evaluation that Hubert is not a waste of time, but on your evaluation you need to put that you feel that Unit 2 should be incorporated into Unit 1 because it's really,
It kind of is, really.
it is. It's a continuation of Unit 1. But the guy that wrote this book, the people that wrote this book, I know why they did it, but. So, what is the difference quotient? f of x plus h minus f of x over what? And you got to put h as a limit as h goes to what?
0.
0. As the distance between x and x of 1 decreases to 0, what happens? So go ahead and do that. And we all know that the answer is going to come out the derivative. We know that, which would be negative 32t. That should be your answer when you get finished. Plug and chug. And just remember, if you can't do it, that means that you're what? A failure or a loser.
I leave
So,
at 10:30. Will I get counted for being here?
what?
If I leave at 10:30.
Why you gotta leave? You got a fire to go to? Huh?
What? My sister left her keys in my car class. I'll be in at like 11:30.
Just mail them to her. All right, that's fine. Over h. And what do we plug in here? X plus h, and this is, let's see, minus 16, negative 16t squared plus 240. So, negative 16 times x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 240 minus be a plus 16 t squared minus 240, check my signs, over h. And that's going to be 16, negative 16 x squared minus 32 xh minus 16 h squared plus 240 plus 16 t squared minus 240 over h. What happens to the 240s?
We cancel.
They cancel. The 16 t, that's not right. Okay, the 16t squared, okay, it doesn't cancel, but I thought, why have I got an x and a t? Did I mess up? Okay.
No, that's right, because you have to replace the t in the negative 16 with the f plus h. X.
Yeah, did I? Okay. I'll just,
You-
okay. I know what's going to happen. It should cancel out. All right. Okay, let me finish. That t squared is what's got me messed up, though. Okay. All right, so we've got, I'm looking. We've got something wrong somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it. Negative 16 x squared minus 32 xh minus 16 h squared plus 16 t squared. I shouldn't have that over h. Okay, factor out the h, and that's going to cancel. See, there's no h here. See, there should be a h. Something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong. I've done something, or I've wrote something down right or wrong. I've written something down incorrectly because I'm not going to get. There's the 32. There's the 32, but has anybody seen if I've written down something incorrectly?
I don't know how
I don't see it.
you cancel out because it's in the original
I
problem.
do not factor something out.
Something's not right. Something's not right because I'm not supposed to get. We're in differential equations right here. I got two variables here. I'm not worried about h. What I'm worried about is that t. Use the limit definition. That's what we're using of the derivative to find the rate of change. Wait a minute. Use the limit definition of the derivative. Let me type in an answer and see if it's right. Let me type in the derivative and see if it's right, because I want to see if that's what because I think I'm reading the directions on this a little bit different.
Let me see.
Negative 32t. Negative 32t. And submit. Use the answer in part A to form rapidly after 1 second. Negative 32. Submit answer. How long? Yeah. Okay, I've written something down wrong, or something's wrong somewhere, people. Because if I divide, and what will happen is, the x divided by h, what happens if x divided by h? What happens as h goes to 0 with that limit? You get an unknown function. Yes, you get an unknown function. So h cannot be under 8x and t. So, okay, y'all need to help me out here. I'm serious. I have either written something down wrong. I know what the answer is, but I've written something down wrong, or I've not canceled something out. Because you can't hit limit. Because if you did the limit right here, as h, limit as h approaches 0, this will give you an undefined function.
I don't see it, Hubert.
This is a differential equation. Okay, give me a second, y'all. Give me a second.
16x squared minus 32x squared.
I'm making sure, I'm going through and I'm doing the algebra in my head. 16x squared, negative 32, negative 16h squared. That's negative 16h squared. Plus 240, minus 240, plus 16t squared. See this right here, okay, I'm going to keep going here. Just keep going and don't worry about it. I'm going to go up here. Limit as h approaches 0 of negative 16x squared over h minus 32 h over h minus 16h squared over h plus 16t squared over h. And of course that goes out, and that goes and leaves the h to the first power, and you have the limit as h goes to 0 of negative 16x squared over h minus 32x minus 16h plus 16t squared. And as h goes to infinity, this goes to no solution. This goes out, and you're left with negative 32x minus 16t squared. Negative 32x plus 16t squared. And that's not the answer. The answer is right there. I am jumping over something that, and I think it's U substitution. I think they're bringing in U substitution on this. They have to, because you can't have two equations, because then you'd be doing differential equations. You can't have two equations and take the derivative in respect to one equation, one variable. So I am missing something on this problem that they are putting into this problem. Okay? Okay, now, don't worry about the algebra part, I'll figure that out. Right now, I want you to concentrate on this and take the first derivative, which would be 2 times negative 16, t to the 2 minus 1, and that will leave you with negative 32 t, and that is your rate, your speed. First derivative is speed. So that's right here, 32t. Okay, the algebra, I will figure out the algebra, but I'm thinking, of course you can't hit help me solve this because this crap doesn't have it. So I'm going to have to go back and see if they're doing a U substitution, which I believe they are, or not a U substitution, but an X substitution. I believe that's what they're doing. And I will get back with you on that one. Because they're going to have to do it there because they're doing it in the... Why are they introducing it into these problems? I'll figure that out. Let me figure that one out. Because they're doing something that is not normal. Because you can't... You remember in solving systems of equations in algebra? Where you had to have two equations with two unknowns? Well, this is not calculus and it's not algebra because you have two what? You have technically three variables, and they're going to have to do something that I'm not seeing what they're doing. Okay, I'll get back with you on this one. My bad on this one. I thought it was just difference quotient. I'll get back. Hold on. Yeah, all of these are the same. And of course, none of them have the help me solve this capability. Okay? So I will get back with you on 5.6. We'll do that Thursday, or 2.6. Let me go back to 2.5. 2.6. Okay, this is where you have to draw a slope line. Okay, I think all of you can draw a slope line at this given point. What is the tangent line at point A? Well, what will it be? What kind of a line will it be? I'm asking y'all. It's going to be a horizontal line. Okay? Identify the input value where the slope of the function is 0. Do y'all see why x is equal to a? That's the answer. Okay? Identify the input value where the slope of the function reaches a maximum value. A maximum value. Well, that would be where it straightens out the what? Most, probably right in here. So that would be x is greater, or x is going to be greater than a, or something to that effect. Okay, x is greater than a. Input the input where the slope of the function reaches a relative minimum. Well, the closer and closer you get to a, but which side? Well, this side is going to be what kind of a slope? It's going to be a negative slope. This side is going to be a positive slope. But right around A is going to be around 0. So it would have to be somewhere around A. So what's your choices? Identify the input where the slope of the function reaches a relative minimum value. I would say x is equal to a, but that's really not true because x cannot equal a because you have 0 slope. But I'm going to put that because that's the best answer out of all of them, wouldn't you say? You could say none.
Why wouldn't you just do the opposite of the one we did up there, the maximum value, come down to the minimum value and do the opposite?
Because that would give you a negative. See, negative and minimum is not the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Minimum is the lowest point.
Yeah.
Negative slope, see, they're asking you for the slope. See, it says slope. Or the slope is minimum.
That's what I'm saying. If they're asking you for the slope, but the minimum slope value, is that
Mhm.
not what they're asking? So then would it not just be the opposite of the maximum slope value?
If it said negative, if it said where the slope is negative, yes. Because minimum is not always negative. As far as the slope goes. Now you could say that, and knowing this web sign, it might be the correct answer. But I'm going to go with that because that's the best answer, or none.
Just because it's zero.
Just because it's zero. Indicate actually, if you want to know the truth about it, the slope is at minimum right here and right there. You see what I'm saying? That's your minimum slope. It's on the left side of A and the right side of A. But it doesn't say the left side of A and the right side of A. It says greater or less than. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The two minimum values for the slope is right beside this point and right beside this point. So you could say none, but I think the answer is none, but I'm going to put A is equal to A, but I'm going to put none. I'll put none. Okay, indicate the input interval over which the slope is what? That's A is what? X is greater than what? A. And then where is the negative? X is less than A. Indicate the input interval over which the slope of the function is increasing. That would be X is greater than what? Where is it decreasing? Sketch the slope of the function. Sketch a slope graph of the function. Okay, I'm confused. Help me out. What is this saying? Hold on, let me erase that. I've got to erase this right quick. Okay. It says, sketch a slope graph of the function. Okay, so the slope graph is decreasing, then it's what? It's increasing. So slope graph would be increasing and what? Decreasing.
Decreasing to increase.
Yeah, decreasing to increasing. I would say C. Was this C right here?
Yeah, I guess.
And that should be your answers. Now let's see which one we got wrong. I still question that none, but let's see what it says. Okay, it says decreasing. It says that one. I really don't know.
No, you got it right.
See, I got
You got it
all
right.
of them wrong. This one says, identify the point when it's reading the relative maximum value. Oh,
There's none of that.
it says none on that one too. Okay. What is this one? Indicate the input where the slope of the function is increasing. The slope of the function is increasing should be, the slope of the function is not increasing on the left side. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Indicate the input interval over which the slope of the function is decreasing. Okay, let me ask y'all a question. I
a
might be
confusing
reading the
ass
question
problem.
wrong, but what is the slope doing right here?
Decreasing.
Okay, what's the slope doing right there?
Decreasing.
Decreasing.
Okay, one more question. What's the slope doing right there?
Decreasing.
Decreasing.
Okay, let me ask you one more question. What's the slope doing right here?
Increasing.
One more.
Increasing is the answer.
And right there.
And it's also increasing.
Okay, I just want, now let me go back down, okay, because I'm having problems with this. It's saying, let me read the question again. Indicate the input interval over which the slope of the function is increasing. What would y'all say the answer to that is?
X is greater than A. Everything past that point.
Does anybody see
Right.
where this question is correct? I'm trying to see if I'm reading the question totally wrong. It says the slope of the function is increasing. What was that?
People next to us.
And they say I'm loud. All right, and it says indicate where it's decreasing. I'm sorry, I would disagree with those two functions. I would just, I mean, those two questions.
The only thing I can think of is why they would go from negative affinity to positive affinity, because if you look at the overall graph,
It's not.
I mean, it's going from left to right, and I guess it's increasing more than it's decreasing.
Well, even if you did the increasing values of x and the decreasing values of x, what is x? As x right here increases, what's the function doing? It's decreasing. As x increases, what's it doing? It's increasing. So I really don't understand how they get that answer. And that answer, I don't see how they get this answer. So I guess and I think the last two questions we've gone over, I'm missing something that they're doing, or I'm missing something, because it looks like to me the slope of the function is increasing. That's on the right side. The slope of the function is decreasing on the left side. I guess we'll come back to that one. So what everybody needs to be doing for homework between now and Thursday, y'all need to be working on 2.1 through 2.4 or 2.3. Okay? Work on 2.1 through 2.3. I will go over 2.5 and 2.6, and that'll leave y'all with 2 days to do the homework, and then I'll give the test, okay? And we'll get this thing out of the way so we can get back on to the derivatives, okay? See y'all.
Sounds good.
I don't know why that's screwed up question.